Hi, this is Frida. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use the Snappy, a wonderful product that makes the hooping process a snap. What is the Snappy and how does it work? The Snappy is a hooping aid that is designed to make the hooping process easier and more consistent. If you've done much hooping at all, you know how hard the whole process is on your hands and wrist. Hooping without the Snappy can lead to sore, tired hands and wrists, and in many cases, more serious problems such as carpal tunnel and arthritis. The Snappy works by multiplying your energy so that you don't have to push so hard. In fact, there are many benefits to using the Snappy. Reduced pressure on the hands, wrists, and fingers. Less pressure on the hoops as pressure is evenly distributed around the entire hoop. Less stress on the garment as you will hoop it right the first time, and the benefit of a more evenly hooped item, resulting in better quality embroidery. Need I even mention that you've saved yourself a lot of time as well. The Snappy can be used with or without the embroiderer's friend or embroiderer's hoopmates, but you will find that it works easiest when used with the embroiderer's friend, embroiderer's hoopmates, or other alignment aids. Setting the Snappy for your hoop. To set your Snappy for your hoop, turn the Snappy on its back so that the handle is on the bottom and the hoop locks are on top. The hoop locks are those white brackets that your hoop will be attached to. When your Snappy is brand new out of the box, you will notice that you have 6 of the hoop locks, a secured small one on top, a small movable one on each side, and 3 movable ones at the bottom, small, medium, and large. You will remove 2 of the bottom ones. Leave the one that best fits the hoop that you will be working with. You should use the largest one that you can for best results. Obviously, the small hoop lock is for small hoops, the medium for medium-sized hoops, and the largest one for larger hoops. You should have 4 hoop locks on your Snappy now, 3 adjustable ones, and the stationary top one. Loosen the adjustable ones and slide them toward the center. Notice the shape of the hoop locks. The long groove on one edge is where the inner ring of the hoop rests. Be sure this groove is turned outward. Turn the inner ring of your hoop upside down and place the top of the hoop into the groove on the stationary hoop lock at the top of the Snappy. Slide the lower hoop lock down until the bottom edge of the inner hoop is engaged in the groove on the lock. Important! Be certain you have the outer rim of the hoop in the groove of the hoop lock. Pull this lower lock securely against the groove and tighten the screw so that the lock is secured onto the inner hoop ring. Be careful not to pull too tightly as you might bend the hoop and make hooping difficult. Slide the 2 side hoop locks outward and engage the outer rim of the hoop. You may use the grid lines on the Snappy to square and center the hoop. Tighten the side locks down. Turn the Snappy over and check to see that the hoop stays on the Snappy. If it falls off, move the hoop locks tighter against the hoop. Hooping with the Snappy. Place your stabilizer, an item to be embroidered, on the outer hoop in the correct position. The alignment tools the embroiderer's friend or embroiderer's hoopmates makes placement of your hoops much easier by holding the outer hoop ring exactly and securely in place. Mount the inner hoop ring onto the Snappy as I just showed you in the setup portion of this video. Hold the Snappy in one hand by the long padded handle. With the other hand, locate the outer edge of the hoop. With this hand that is resting on the outer edge, use your index finger and thumb to guide the inside of the hoop into the outside ring of the hoop. Make sure that the front end of the inner hoop is completely inserted into the front end of the outer hoop. While keeping light pressure on the knob and pulling the knob toward the front end of the hoop, rest the Snappy on top of the work by removing your hand from the padded handle. Continue to keep light pressure on the front end of the Snappy. Now gently push on one side of the large handle of the Snappy using the palm of your hand. Make sure that corner of the hoop is inserted into the outer hoop. Now move your palm to the other side of the handle and gently push so that the remaining side of the hooping is completed. Very little force is necessary since the Snappy multiplies your pressure many times. Here's a very important point to remember. Do not try to force the inner hoop into place by pushing hard on the center of the handle. Doing this works poorly and is very hard on fragile hoops. Remember, instead, push on one side of the handle and then the other. If you should have trouble getting your Snappy to work as easily for you as it did for me, let's take a look at some of the possible reasons for your trouble. Problem: the inner ring of your hoop is not secure on the Snappy. In other words, the hoop falls off the Snappy when you turn it over for hooping. Here's how to correct that problem. Make sure that the hoop locks are turned the right way and are tight enough against the inside edges of the rim of the hoop. Problem: hooping requires too much effort. Solution: this problem could be caused by one or more things. Here are some things to check for. First, your hoop tension may be set too tight. Try a looser setting. Remember the technique that we covered in the first portion of the video about how to preset your hoop tension? To review that technique, set the tension so that the gap between the inner and the outer rings of the hoop, when spread apart at the widest point, is approximately equal to twice the thickness of the item being hooped. Squeeze your two hoops together and check the gap at one corner. This is where you will check to see that the spacing is twice the thickness of what you are hooping. Either tighten or loosen the tension using the screw to adjust this setting. Remember the accessory called the hoop spreader. When mounted on your hoop, spreads the hoop open, consequently making this adjustment very easy to do. Most hoops are designed in a way that you can use the hoop spreader. Solution 2, if your hooping requires too much effort, could be that you need to change your technique. Never try to push the back of the hoop in place with one motion. That is, don't press in the middle of the handle. Instead, use two presses, one on each edge of the handle. Makes all the difference in the world. Solution number 3 to the problem of hooping requires too much effort. If you are hooping with a large hoop, you may have forgotten to replace the lower hoop lock with a larger one. Remember, use the largest lower hoop lock that your hoop will allow for better gripping and support of your hoop. Solution 4. You may be cocking the Snappy off straight with the outer ring of the hoop. Be sure to push the inner ring of the hoop all the way inside the front of the outer hoop and hold it securely with the palm knob. Solution number 5 if you're having trouble hooping with the Snappy. If you are using the Snappy in conjunction with the embroiderer's friend or embroiderer's hoop mates, the brackets on the embroiderer's friend or embroiderer's hoop mates may be too tight against the hoop, restricting the hoop from expanding enough to allow hooping to take place. Try a looser setting that allows the hoop to expand as far as necessary. I'm Frida Burt, Director of Education for ABC Embroidery Company, manufacturers of the Embroiderer's Friend, Embroiderer's Hoop Mates, the Snappy, and other fine embroidery accessories. And I thank you for your time and attention, and most of all for your purchase of these products. I wish you many hours of embroidery fun. Goodbye and God bless you.